You think you hate it now, but wait till you drive it.
The Kibbe and Friends Show.
What it is, bro?
Featuring Rob Kibbe.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Justin Corddog Cornett.
New guy's in the corner puking his guts out.
And show producer Bernie McPartland.
This is the DJ 3000, and it has 3 distinct varieties of inane chatter.
Talking cars.
Do you feel this vehicle is safe for highway travel?
Yes, I do.
Diving deep on the topics that matter most.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
And totally redeem yourself.
And the Dukes of Hazzard. Available in iTunes, Stitcher, and whatever else it is you listen on.
Turn up the volume.
The Kibbe and Friends Show.
Kibbe and Friends Show. It's episode number 153. It's available on Apple Podcast and about a million other places, including Patreon. Now, if you've not heard of Patreon, this is the outstanding way that you can not only listen to this show for free like you're doing now, but you can actually pay for other episodes that we do once a month for you on a subscription basis. And we have some great people who follow us on Patreon, and they contribute different amounts. And what that gets them is some cool stuff that we send out once a month on a swag pack kind of thing or a prize grab. And then we have a special program that we send out as well. But more on that later. I am your intrepid producer for the show, Bernie, and with me is probably the smartest guy I've ever met in a number of years about a number of things. It is the one, the only, Justin Corddog Cornett. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know how much of that is true, but I'll go with it.
Man, I have known it to be true since we started doing these things, that the nut and bolt knowledge that you have and that you've shared, and we've done a number of shows that highlight that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to those. I love it when you and Rob get together and just talk nuts and bolts about a certain car or a certain...
go full dork mode.
Full dork mode. Nothing wrong with that. I bet you know the paint code for the center caps of the hubcaps on the car behind you there. That's how detailed you get sometimes.
It does look like Argent Silver, actually.
Well, our friend Rob Kibbe, is the normal host of the show. He's taken a few days off with his family. I don't know where he's a Big Fun Park. I don't know if it's the Big Fun Park in Florida. I think that's right. Taking his family down there for a few days, and he is going to try to apply the smile that he's got now to his family. He's got this big smile on his face because he has been in a very, very special, fun thing. He's been at the Bobby Orr Driving School doing donuts. Making us jealous. Did you see the Instagram videos that he posted?
Oh, yeah. I wish so bad I could go and do that, but it's a 3-day thing, and you got to make plans to do just that pretty much. So
it's like the Power Tour. You've got to take a week off to get to the tour, do the tour, and then a week back home. So yeah, it's a whole month thing. I don't know if that was him driving in those scenes or if that was Bobby Orr, but he said Bobby Orr himself took his family around on some separate rides, sliding them around cones and everything. How fun would that be? That's cool.
That he did it just like they do in the movies, to where the camera angle is just right, where you can't tell who's actually driving. Mm-hmm. So Bobby was probably being the stuntman to Kibbe.
Probably. They're using those front-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, the little ZX2s, Escorts.
Yeah. I'm sure there was some Fiestas in there somewhere. I'm still sure that Rob had to start him out on Fiestas.
And there was Mustangs as well, like late 90s, early 2000s Mustang.
That didn't have any mufflers on. Yeah. The Escorts had mufflers and full on because they just kind of disappeared when they left the camera. But the Mustang, that was kind of fun. Have you been with friends or anything to something like that, had a weekend?
I've never done anything like that. About the closest thing to that I didn't even do, but I went to, was my brother went to one of those NASCAR driving experiences, and it was at Talladega. I think it was like 10 laps maybe, which Talladega, that's 2.5 miles. That's better than doing 10 laps at Bristol. Before you know it, you'll be through. But my brother did that, and I really wanted to do it, but I wasn't signed up or anything. But that's about the closest thing that I've ever done. I'd love to go to one.
I took the Chevelle out to Texas Motor Speedway. They had I think it's called Speedway Charities. And you go out there and you pay them. It was almost nothing. It was like $35, and they would send you out on the track, and you do, what was it, 3, 4, 5 laps around the track, you know, in line with other people, not by yourself. So you had to run single file. But dude, my Chevelle was on the Texas Motor Speedway.
That's cool to be able to take your own vehicle out there instead of some piece of crap that they've had sitting there on the lot that everybody else has run the mess out of.
On my little bitty 1966 14-inch wheels and 1966 suspension. That was a run, man. I tell you what.
Talk about body roll, huh?
Talk about body roll and drift, and I think 70 or 75 is all I got that thing up to, and the front end starts lifting up a little bit, and it's like, okay, I've had enough of this. We're going to set, I don't care what the guys behind me are, I'm going to set this thing back down.
Yeah.
Because the track has as much to say about where you go as the steering wheel, if not more. That wall starts coming up real quick.
Oh.
And with me and 2 other people in the car, it was eye-opening. It really was.
Yeah. And you're in your baby anyways. You definitely don't want to tag the wall on that.
That's right. How am I going to get this thing home if I tear it up?
Did you have radials, or were they bias polyglass? Or
No. They were radials. So
they were. Okay.
Yeah. Modern tires.
Yeah.
So
imagine doing it on bias plas. How much worse that would have been.
Golly, man, that was an experience. But that was fun. I'd love to do it again, and I'd pay a little more to do that. That was a whole lot of fun. But I bet at Bobby Orr School, I wonder if they had a session. Did they take them out in the cars first and run him around the track, and it's like, okay, here's what you're going to learn. And he slid him around like that. I bet he was crying like a little girl. I bet he was.
He may have missed his pants once or twice.
I bet he did. That's why they have vinyl in those cars anyway. I don't know. Well, we have no show review for you today. We have no movie review for you today. We have almost nothing for you today because we're mailing it in. No, not really. But we're in season 5 of The Dukes still, right? But Rob, if you're listening to this, we love you so much. We're not going to take anything away from you. We want you to enjoy every single episode of season 5 and not take that away from you. But, you know, as of late, you've noticed it, and we've talked about it, that he's kind of warming up to those. You know, he and season 5 are getting along just fine.
They're getting acquainted pretty well. I think he's starting to form a little bit of a man crush on it.
I've seen him come to work without his shirt buttoned. That's a sign right there.
If you remember when we started season 5, he was all bundled up with a quilt or something over his shoulders.
That's right. He was.
Yeah. So now he's all playing the part of Rico Suave.
Now he's all coyed up. He's all coyed out. Well, remember on our summer show schedule release now, that means you and I get to do Corddog more of the boss's work. That means we're showing up for work earlier. We get to do these shows. And
he goes and has fun.
Well, he goes and has fun because he said, you know, if you've got a business, the work gets done while the boss is gone. That's his motto thing. So be sure that all this shows up in your invoice appropriately. Oh, yeah. And it's certainly going to show up on mine. It's going to mail out in a couple of days here. Boss, I hope you got a really big mailbox there because it's really going to get added on to. It's going to be good for us, though. I guess that's going to be great.
You did punch in before we started sorting out all the audio stuff, right?
Dude, I punched in about noon.
Okay, good.
Because I'm getting ready to get ready.
There you go.
It takes a while to get ready. I had a friend one time that said, you know, if I'm supposed to be here at 8 o'clock, that means I've left my house at 7. So if that's true, I should technically be at home by 5 and out. So I can clock out when I get in and out of the car, and home is really when I should be clocking out. Is that right? And the boss just kind of looked at him and walked away. That's priceless. It was priceless. Well, no show to review as we did today, but we're going to do another movie review. Now, he rattled off a few. We did Two Lane Blacktop with Finnegan, and there was a couple others he had mentioned. Did he say we were going to do Megaforce? He was going to do that?
Well, he did, yeah.
That's what I thought.
One.
I don't know that I've ever watched it, so that's going to be fun.
Me either.
You've never seen it?
No. I hate that I missed it.
Now, I'm a kid of the 80s. 80s were awesome. You can put spandex on anything, and it was awesome. But I've not seen that movie, but I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be right in my neighborhood. And if I do get it, I'm going to memorize it. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that from now on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going through some hot rod magazines sometime back. I guess, 87 when that movie came out. And I was flipping through some old hot rods, and they had a 1-page ad for Megaforce in Hot Rod Magazine. I said, oh, this is awesome. I took a picture of it, and I sent it to Kibby and Finnegan. Finnegan loved it, and Kibby, he loved it, but he just didn't admit to it.
Well, while he's not here, I've got a great gift idea. It's his birthday, so why don't you take that picture, get it laminated, frame it, and send it to him?
Yes.
And it'll show up in his office back in the man cave. That would be awesome. That would be terrific.
He'll have to hang it up right behind his head.
Right behind his head, so you can see it every time we do a recording here like that. Hey, you want to hear a great email we got from a listener?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a listener or the listener. One of, yeah. Hey, it's really nice. It says, "Hey, Rob, just wanted to drop you a note and tell you how much I love the Kibby and Friends show. As a longtime Roadkill fan, I started watching on Mike's YouTube channel. Now I've got a 50-mile commute to work and get to listen to podcasts. I came from Mike, but I found that actually I enjoy the show better now. Corndog and Bernie really bring a lot to the table, and you seem like such a good guy." I started watching the Dukes on IMDb and just reached season 2. Well, he's in for a disappointment, isn't he?
He's in the good stuff right now.
He is. He says that. He says, "It definitely changed to a more childlike innocence, which is the show that I knew and loved. I got to meet Bo Duke himself at a gas station in Ely, Nevada about 20 years ago, and he couldn't have been any nicer. But that's a story for another email. Let me know if you would like to hear it. Hope all is well with you, your staff, and families. Sincerely, Ben Torix out of Rupert, Idaho." Ben, wow. Cool. Thank you. That's such a nice letter. That's awesome.
If he was in Nevada, I wonder if he caught him while he was doing the Silver State Classic race with his General Lee. That's an odd place to meet him, at a gas station in Nevada.
So hungry I could eat a sandwich from a gas station.
Oh, no lot lizards, though.
Would that have been 20 years ago then? About?
20 years, that'd be 99. So, yeah, that was right about the time that he was doing all that with his General Lee. He had the deal with Hotchkiss suspension. And so he was trying out their new sway bars and all that. And so his car was in its prime during that time.
I can't believe it's been 20 years. When I talk about the 90s, it's like yesterday.
Yeah.
99. Remember Y2K, the big scare there? That was the computer pandemic back then.
Yeah, everything, the whole world was going to shut down because the computer didn't know that it needed to go from 99 to 2000.
We stayed up all night that night, up till midnight. All of our analog stuff, I had it up, the VCR, had it up on the page where it updates the date and time and all that kind of stuff. And at midnight, it rolled over to 2000, or it rolled over to 00.
Yeah.
But nothing shut off. All the computers we had at that time stayed on. Like, oh, man.
That's it.
The greatest joke in all the world just got played on us.
No, I got you. I was working at Kroger at the time, putting up stock, and you would have thought we were in the middle of a blizzard. I mean, every shelf was just about wiped clean. Because,
I remember that, yeah.
Because a computer doesn't know to swap over to 2000. You're not going to be able to buy bread. You're not going to be able to buy milk. And it was kind of crazy. I thought, this is just ridiculous.
You could have still paid cash.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not a problem.
Write a check.
Well, even though we are doing a shorter show, you and I, this week, we still have some stuff to cover. So I know you've got to go in a little while here, so we will put a shortened version of this. Well, all that includes yourself, Mr. Corndog. How's it going with your Silver Sport transmission install? Got your hands dirty still?
Not today. I did earlier, but everything's in. I still need to do the transmission cooling lines. I had to bring my tubing bender home because I've got to tweak them just a little bit so that they'll clear the harmonic balancer. And then I have to wire up the CompuShift controller. I just got notified that my drive shaft, they have to custom build a drive shaft for your car. Mm-hmm. And the drive shaft should be here tomorrow. I think by this weekend, Silver Sport transmission will be installed completely. And then I can move on to the next thing.
That is awesome. Now, clearance. Do you mean clearance, or are you going to have to make some new lines because the case is bigger, right? So you're going to have to palm bend those lines around something a little bit? Is that what you mean by tweak or what?
Yeah, they're hard lines, and they say, you can bend them, but me being OCD, I hate to bend them by my hand and then them kind of look wiggle woggly or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I've got to use my tubing bender just so I put a nice little crease in it. Not crease. You definitely don't want to crease.
No creases.
Nice little roll in it like it's supposed to be there. And so that's the only thing is the balancer. They come right in, or one of the lines come right in front of the balancer. And so I just want to put a little bit of extra room right around it because that's the last thing I need is a balancer whittling away on a tube of automatic transmission fluid.
Right. Now, did it come with fluid in it? Did they give you fluid or you fluid it before you install it?
You get a case of fluid. I forget how many quarts are in it, but there's actually fluid in the transmission as well. They either dyno test it or bench test it or whatever. They run it before they send it out, and then they'll drain the fluid out and the majority of the fluid. And so the torque converter is already in place, and they say do not remove the torque converter. So, it has, I don't know how much fluid's in it already, but it does have some because every time when I had to move it, it spilt some out. So I've kept a bag on the tail end of it. So
here's something I've never known because I don't have that much experience with swapping trannies and stuff, but the one I've done when I took it out of the Chevelle, it was a Power Glide. Now it's a 4-speed. In a transmission, is it like a motor that you have break-in fluid that you run it with for a little while, then change it like you do in a motor, or once it's in, it's in?
Yeah, you just add it and go. And it's not like an engine where you break it in. Not that I know of. It doesn't say, there's nothing in the directions as far as, swapping out the fluid so many miles later on down the road. Put it in and rock and roll.
That's cool.
It does say, go easy on it for so many miles. Then you can do white smoky burnouts. Because that's what transmissions are for.
I bet you're going to interpret those numbers just a little bit, aren't you? You're going to tweak them just a little bit.
I haven't driven the car in so long, so it will be nice to just be able to hop in it and go again.
Yeah, that's cool. So thanks to Silver Sport for helping us out with all that. That is very, very neat. And it's a complete package. I forget, I don't have those notes in front of me like Rob has and has them memorized and stuff. So you got the kit, you got the tranny, you got the torque converter that you said that's already in it. So I suspect that's why they don't want it out because it's full of fluid already. And
right.
Cross member, did that come with it? And
yes, it comes with a specific cross member. Of course, my car is a Chrysler, so it's 66 through 70 B body. They all use the same cross member. Dipstick tube, dipstick, transmission lines. Mine is the stage 2, so it came with a cooler, a transmission cooler. Everything I had to convert the shifter. I have an automatic on the floor, and it's a 3-speed gate. Well, you have to remove the little gate with the little notches and put a 4-speed gate in. It includes the gate. It includes the hardware to do it, a B&M shift cable. I mean, I have not had to buy not one single thing so far that's not included in the kit.
That is awesome. Man, we've come a long way. I remember when I converted my Chevelle over to 4-speed. Man, no one had thought of all this yet. This was stuff, and you remember this, you had to go scrounging in junkyards if you could find one that had a car like yours in it. Or I spent a lot of my time at car shows introducing myself and finding people with the same model car as mine, they equipped the way I wanted. And they were kind enough to let me crawl all over their car, all under their car, ask them a billion questions. I still miss some stuff, when I was eventually putting everything together. Oh, yeah. I forgot to even add, you don't know what you don't know. So you were just blind ratting it through and trying to make it work. But that was so much fun to me to make that work. And so time goes by and I'm getting a catalog and looking through it. What do you mean a kit to change it over? That's cool. It's cruel, but it's cool. It's awesome. After the Silver Sport is in, it's EFI, right? Are you doing anything with that, or are you going to do one and then complete the other?
I plan to do the transmission swap completely, 100% done, and then jump over to the EFI. And I've got the Holley Sniper Stealth EFI, the Hyperspark Ignition, which is a control module, timing control, and the distributor. I have a new fuel tank for it as well with a sump already made in it, an EFI tank. And so I got that from Aeromotive. So, yeah, that's the next step is that.
If it all sounds familiar, I know you and Rob have talked ad nauseum about this stuff back and forth. And it sounds like I haven't been listening. And most of the time that's correct because I've been doing other things while you guys are talking about this. So I have to play catch up with it, going to other screens.
Producer stuff.
Producer stuff. That's right. Facebook is producer stuff, vaguely.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that in the background.
Is that Marketplace or just plain Facebook?
Just plain old Facebook. Just watching all kinds of fun things. Cats.
Yeah.
A lot of cat videos while you guys are talking because I'm kind of a third party on that conversation. I admit it. I'm all right. That's cool. So,
Yeah. Oh, well.
Are you OCD on your wiring and placement? I mean, as far as if you think, well, it looks good here, but it would look great there.
For sure. And that's sometimes what takes me so long. Just like, for example, like on where I was talking about the shift gate, I mean, it had a little tab that was bent and, I could have straightened up the tab and put the new gate in and called it good, but I blasted it. I took it all apart. I greased everything down and it's like brand new. But yeah, the wiring, I can't stand the plastic wire loom. I will take that stuff off and I will put something else on over it instead of that ribbed plastic wire loom because I hate that stuff.
You're never looking under the hood of my car ever.
Well, GM did that. Chrysler did. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I usually try to route the wires nice and neat and clean and just not find the first place and stick it there and call it good. So sometimes, on that 57 Corvette that I did, sometimes I'll cut up a brand new harness just to either lengthen wires or shorten wires just so that they're not all bunched up. That way I can put modules and computers wherever I actually want them and not where they'll fit.
I'm neat, but not perfect. Usually I'm on a time schedule and I just want something in there and done, and everything's a mod anyway. There are lots of times where I've had to start with one color wire and it gets converted to another color, but I'm always careful to make a note about it so I can go back and find it later. It either gets then stuffed into a loom or it's routed so that you really can't tell and stuff. So it's good. And
there's nothing wrong with that either.
For the whole shape of the car that it's in, it's never going to be a show queen. It's a driver, plain and simple. The rock chips reflect on the paint and in the wiring harness. So...
Well, this car here, it's got scratches and dings and all that everywhere around. But the car was painted back in 98 or 99. And so it's changed hands a couple of times. So, it's not perfect.
Whoever painted my car before I got it, I'm not sure how they did it. I don't know if they tried to singularly dip the entire car in paint and let it dry like that, or if the guy had on too many pairs of glasses or not enough. So I feel so sorry for that car. Sometimes I'll go and, the lines are horrible on it, the gaps and all that. And I've tried to straighten up some of them, but it's so far gone. I think they took it apart. They did a good job taking it apart because you can tell where the paint is. But I think they tried to reassemble the whole thing in like a 30-minute car show time and get it out the door. It's just miserable. But it runs. It's loud. Runs great. Rides good. That's all I'm looking for out of it. So that's cool.
The best thing is you're able to enjoy it. So
we do enjoy it.
Important.
That's the whole point behind it. So that's okay. All righty. Well, how about a little news for the night? Brought to you by our great friends at Holly, the official air and fuel delivery company of the Kibbe and Friends show. We are so grateful, guys. Thank you so much for that. And that's really taken a burden off the Kibbe kids who've been mowing lawns up till now to support the show. So anything that you can do will be helpful, as they say. So that's good there. Well, let's see. Speaking of Holly, Mow Party, that's coming up September 18th, 19th, and 20th. And if things go right, if things still stay on track, we get a chance to come out. This is going to be our first event.
Yes.
This is going to be cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait.
It'll be fun.
They want us to be the official podcast of the event. I don't even know what that means.
Have they listened to us?
I don't think they have.
I mean, we're not like Joe Rogan or,
no, there's
Adam
no
Carolla or anybody.
There's no Ron Burgundy here. It's just us. It's cool. They're going to probably give us a good place to sit, some chairs and a table, maybe even a power cord to plug some stuff into. That'd be cool. Yeah. Hopefully some water. It's going to be hot.
September is still hot.
Even in Bowling Green? I mean, we went last year and went through the Corvette Museum in May, and it was very, very warm. But I don't know what happens the rest of the year. Anything out of Texas, I consider a separate country. So
I think it's kind of like stagnant air, too. I think that's what makes it worse. The air just doesn't move, it seems like. Great.
It's going to be fun. It's going to make up for it. So come by and hang out. If you're going to be in that area, we would love to have you come out and hang with us. That Friday night is when we're planning to do some sort of get-together thing. Rob's been working on this, a place to, I don't know if it's going to be on site, or if it's going to be in a hotel room, or who knows.
He's going to rent out a Chuck E. Cheese. You watch.
I'm in for that. I am down for that. I've been one time, and I would go back in a heartbeat. That is sensory overload, even for a guy my age. That's so good. Give me those coupons and stay out of my way. That's going to be a lot of fun. So that and a sack of tacos, that's going to be a good way to hang out. So come by and mingle with us. Details are at holly.com, and now that includes LS Fest that's coming up September 11th through the 13th, and then the Intergalactic Ford Fest, that's a little later, October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I believe. And they're all going to be at Bowling Green, all in the same place. Man, that's a pretty smart move. If you can secure one location like that to move all your events to, instead of spreading them around all over the country because of what we've been going through, the pandemic and all, that's pretty smart. And I'm glad they got to pull that off. And I'm sure the City Council of Bowling Green is thrilled about that with all the extra tax revenue coming in.
The hotels are loving it too.
Hope they have the coffee full and the breakfast buffet full. That's going to be cool. Including from Holly, you may have a paragraph on this as well. Their new items, the Gen 3 Hemi swap parts that they've just added. This is 66 to 70 B-body Mopars. If you're trying to put a Hemi in one of those cars, you don't have to kludge it together like I was trying to do, changing my tranny over in the Chevelle. They have a kit for that. Oil pan, motor mounts, headers. Anyway, you're a long way down the road if you've got those other things ready to go.
I need to look into that too, because, just like the LSs are with the GM products, the modern Hemi, a lot of people are swapping them over. But yeah, it's always been a hard task to do because they're not as user-friendly as far as swapping as the LS is. So for a company to combine everything and make it, an install package, that would be great.
I suspect there was a few Holly people trying to do that and said, dang it, I work for a company that can do this. And they went in the next day and said, now look, I think
we know people.
I'm staying up all night and I don't have to. Let's build this and be done with it. If it's,
and get paid to do it.
If we're doing it, surely somebody else wants to do it. Anyway, thank you, Holly, so much. Holly.com for all the details on the events and all the cool parts that they have there. They're being very good to us. Be very, very good to them for supporting us here on the Kippy and Friends show. All right, let's do a little bit of news here. Well, pandemic aside, the heart disease, you've heard this in the United States, is the leading cause of death among men and women. Did you know a person dies from cardiovascular events every 37 seconds? That means roughly 647,000 people die every year from cardiac events. So it makes us ask the questions, what makes us so open to that kind of disease? Well, we have an answer. Rob, you're going to love this one. A new study released from the Journal of the American Heart Association specifically points at soda. And that includes your gallons a day of the diet soda that you love so much, Rob. Don't you love that now? I think we may have even talked about this before. But according to the data, just one daily serving of that soft drink significantly increases your risk of developing cardiovascular disease. There's been a study going on for like 20 years, and some of those study results just came out. Of those folks in that study, a 20% jump in the disease for someone who drank a soda like that every day. That's significant. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, to just do an average of just one a day. Mm-hmm. Many people kill a whole entire case in a day. Thankfully, I'm not one, but
I'm not either.
They don't mess with my sweet tea, I'm good.
Exactly. I like them. I don't know that I've ever done one a day. The appropriate foods, that we can list all day long, absolutely goes with it and stuff, and that you'll have one or two like that. But every day, and the size of thing that he drinks all the time, I don't know how he does it. I just don't know how he does it.
When I was in college, one guy that was like the next suite over, he was a big computer guy, and he was real big into gaming and stuff way back then even, and he would kill almost a 24 case in a day of Mountain Dew. He had a pile. His
eyes were green.
In the corner of his room, he had a pile. He had like a little small trash can, like a little desk trash can.
Yeah.
And it filled up like by 10 o'clock that morning, and it was just overflowed with yellow and green cans. They're squished, just a big, huge pile of Mountain Dew cans.
His eyes were green. I bet when he did his business, I bet that was green. The first time, Mom, help!
He was wired up until 3 o'clock in the morning.
I guess you have to be pretty wired, I suppose. I don't know. Well, there's some good news, Rob. Don't forget this, but those same people in that study, okay, maybe they had a higher chance for the disease, but the good news is they were a lot less thirsty than your average American. That's good news out of that. Some folks take a smoke break, but a Vermont man went on a 75-day silent Buddhist retreat, and he completely missed, Corddog, everything that's going on now. Missed the pandemic because he was in a cabin and didn't know it. Inside Edition says that Daniel Thorson says he spent a number of days in almost complete silence and isolation. When he came back home, got all his stuff back and came back, he says, "Did I miss anything?"
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
I bet there's so many people on this earth right now that wishes they could have done the same thing. It's like, if I could just miss 2020 altogether.
I bet he's still in front of the TV trying to catch up. That's funny. Yeah. Well, his second question might have been this, and this is on everybody's mind, Corndog. We have dilemmas in our life and in our world, things that really have to be solved. Big questions, big questions. And it's this one. How in the world are soap operas planning to practice social distancing while shooting the love scenes? That's a question. That's a real question. I don't know if I doubt you watch them, but I don't know if the missus watches them or not, between that and Hallmark Channel movies, I guess. I don't know.
We don't watch any of that, but I know what you're talking about because, I could have watched a soap opera, been heavy in it, and then stopped watching it for 10 years and then start back up again, and the storyline would only be like a month off.
You're right. Caught back up. That's the truth. That's the truth. Well,
people die and come back.
They do die and come back. Oh, I was just lost for a while. I was locked up in this prison overseas, and they finally released me because I taught them hair care secrets, and here I am back again. Well, The Bold and the Beautiful, the soap opera, The Bold and the Beautiful, they have a plan for how to deal with this.
Oh, this should be good. They're going to CGI the other character in. The budget is getting bigger.
You wish.
Oh, they're not inflatable dolls, are they?
Blow-up dolls!
Is it really? Oh, what else are they going to do with those blow-up dolls?
Head writer for the show, Bradley Bell, says, quoting, "We have some lifelike blow-up dolls that have been sitting around here for the past 15 years that we've used for various other stories, like when people were presumed dead. We're dusting off the dolls and we're putting new wigs and makeup on them, and they'll be featured in the love scenes."
I just wonder what those dolls have been doing for the last 15 years, or what people have been doing with those dolls for the last 15 years.
I wonder where they got the idea.
Hey, Fred, I'm sorry to break it to you, but we're going to have to steal your doll.
Oh. Jim, meet Fifi. Be careful with the hair. It comes off.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
They may get a new audience now because of this. It kind of turns into a comedy.
I suspect every 7 minutes they're going to come up with a new audience for that. Good for them. Well, you know what's going to happen if they do it, then all the other soap operas, hey, that's the greatest idea I've ever seen in the world. Recently in history, let's go through a little history lesson here. June 16th, 1903, founded the Ford Motor Company by Henry Ford. That was June 16th. And today, as you and I record this, June 23rd, 1993, I know you remember this, John Bobbitt.
Poor guy.
Remember that name? John Bobbitt had his cut off by his wife, Lorena. Man, you got to make a woman mad. If only they'd had the Kibbe and Friends show to hear. Corndog, things would be different today. They both have more of a reason to hang around.
Oh, now that she's gone, he might need to go film some soap operas.
Ooh, look at you. Good pull. Good pull.
How'd you like to be the doctor when he walks into place? It's like, I got this.
What's in the bag? Birthdays of note recently. John Goodman, 68. One of my favorites. I like John Goodman. He was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I liked him in that role. And the
I
things.
like him in The Babe, where he plays Babe Ruth.
I've never seen that.
Oh, I love that movie.
I'll have to go see that. That's good. Yeah, John Goodman, 68. Lionel Richie at 71. And Nicole Kidman, 53. Pretty good 53, I might add. Good look for Nicole. That's our birthdays. And that, my friend Corddog, is a look at the news.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly, for new segments. And I guess we'll have a more extended one next time with Rob back here. So the longer I talk, the less he gets to talk. That's the way it works. So anyway.
That's how it works.
Anything else, friend, we need to catch up on?
I don't know. I'm just ready to get the Charger on the road. It's been a little bit longer than I expected, but I've had a little bit less time in the shop than I planned on, so I'm anxious, ready to get it going.
I'm anxious for you too. That's going to be great. Now, are you planning to take that car to Mo Party or something else or none? Again, I haven't been paying attention. I've been playing Facebook in the background. So,
as of right now, Kibby plans to take the General Lee, and I plan to take the 66. We'll have them there by a tent or stage or whatever. I don't know what they're going to have for us, or picnic table. I don't know, whatever.
I'm kind of hoping it's a picnic table with a shade over it. That's good enough for us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting us to be there. That's going to be a blast. Can't wait to do that. And especially meet you guys and gals who are so faithful to support us and even just listen. I mean, what an honor to be able to come down the hall and do this. It's so cool.
And it's a good central location too for listeners and everybody to come and meet us there. So that would be great.
How far is this from the Corvette Museum? Do you know the layout of that area?
I really don't. I mean, I was born not far from there, but I was born west of there. And so I've only been to Bowling Green just a handful of times.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out. And if you're anywhere in the area, we'd love to have you there. So I guess with that, that's a good place to bail here. You got to go in a couple of minutes, and I need to go get a snack and go find a soap opera to tape for a few minutes
Before
here.
It gets really good.
Before it gets really, really good. We appreciate you so much. You've got so many other things to do, and you choose to throw an hour of your life away once a week to listen to this show, and it's just very, very cool, and we appreciate it. Don't know if I can say that a number of different ways or say it enough, but we do just are honored to be able to sit here and just be guys and just take our minds off everything else that goes on in the world, either now or just whatever time. We all need a break from something, so thank you for making this your break from whatever's going on in your life. What else does he say to close out the show? He goes through that
Keep
spiel.
reaching for the stars and
and that kind of thing. That's awesome. Find us on the
keep your
socials.
gown down. Keep the pedal to the metal.
Keep the gown down. Gosh. All right. Well, we will see you next time. This has been a little shorter show, but that's okay. It's all fun, and I hope you enjoy it. And we'll be back with you next week right here on the Kibby and Friends Show. Corndog, thanks a lot. See you next time.
All right. See you later.